Hello, Milan. This is Sagalow, and I am very sorry that I cannot be here with you in the morning. Please know I am trying very hard to get over to you, and I will get over to you by 2:30 today. So by 2:30 today, for better or for worse, you'll be able to see me in person. But for this morning, for the inspirational talk, I thought that I would come to you by video and talk a little about InsurTech and talk a little about Lemonade. Now, just to keep things interesting, I am going to go into the lower right-hand corner, and hopefully a PowerPoint presentation will be there so you can both hear me as well as hopefully see interesting things. Okay, so if all goes well, I have gone into the lower right-hand corner. I don't see me, but hopefully you see me there. So, Lemonade was founded on a fundamental principle looking at insurance. How many of you have heard of the Urban Dictionary? I see the person in the last row. Obviously, I don't see the person in the last row. Normally, I do this in person, and about 1/3 of the audience raises their hand, so I'm assuming about 1/3 of the audience is. However, for those of you who have not heard of the Urban Dictionary, it is the essence of wisdom of the crowd. That is to say that when you want to know the definition of an industry, what the organizers of the Urban Dictionary do is they send out a notice saying, tell us what you believe is the definition of an industry, what you believe this industry is about. And then all the definitions that have the same commonality become the official definition of the industry. So the Urban Dictionary asked, what is the definition of the insurance industry? And this is what it said. Insurance is a business that involves selling people promises to pay that are never fulfilled. Now, as someone that has spent 25 years in the insurance industry, this was not something that was very happy for me to hear. But the reality of it is that it wasn't always that way. Now, how many people recognize picture of what this is supposed to be? Now, I am imagining that I am there with you, looking around the room, and a good portion of the folks recognize it. And finally, someone in the back says, Lloyd's of London. And that is, in fact, what this is, Lloyd's of London. So, Lloyd's of London began with the concept of people helping people. In 1673, there was a guy named Edward Lloyd's, and he had a pub, like any other pub. And people would go and drink. But what happened more often is that the ship holders and the ship captains would go to this pub, go to Edward Lloyd's pub, and they would complain about how unfair the journey to the New World was. That many of them would not get there successfully, they would have to throw out all their inventory, and they would barely escape with their lives. And yet others would get there very, very safely and make a lot of money. So what they decided to do is come together as a community and share the risk as well as share the fortunes. In fact, they risked each of their individual fortunes to help each other. For every ship that went down, the pool would rebuild the ship. And for those that were successful, the profit would be distributed. It was a sense of community. It was working together, and that we are stronger together. And that is the last reference I'm going to make to Hillary Clinton. Well, that became the essence of Lemonade. But there's nothing better to describe Lemonade than the Lemonade app. So, assuming that I can get this thing working, then the next 1 minute and 42 seconds, listen to the Lemonade app explaining who Lemonade is. And in that 1 minute and 42 seconds, you saw all the value propositions of Lemonade. So let's go over them. The first is the most obvious one, which is technology. Technology that uses, instead of a insurance application, a chat bot. And the chat bot is used as a way of procuring insurance, and you can tell that it's about minute and a half or so to get insurance. But the second spot had to do with claims. Now you notice how quickly the claim was and how quickly it was paid. In fact, recently Lemonade had a record for the quickest claim payment. Guess how long it took after hitting the submit button for the claim that it took to the system to analyze the claim, determine that it was coverage, and pay the claim. Now this was a very simple claim. Since I'm not there, I have no sense what you're shouting, but I'm sure I thought I heard 1 minute. Not 1 minute, not 30 seconds, 3 seconds. We humbly believe that it is on record as the fastest paying claim. But it's not just technology. Remember what we talked about community, and how insurance now, instead of being about people helping each other, is about conflict of interest. In fact, Professor Dan Arlelli, who is our Chief Behavioral Officer, said that if you tried to create a system to bring out the worst in humans, it would look a lot like insurance today. Now, why did he say that? He said that because of the inherent conflict of interest between the insurance carrier and the policyholder. That for every dollar paid in a claim is one less dollar of profit for the insurance carrier. Think of it in the reverse. For every dollar that an insurance carrier doesn't pay in a claim, it's $1 of profit. I can't think of any other business model where the service provider is in inherent conflict of interest with the client, with the customer. So we had to do something about that. And we started with ourselves. Now, how many people know what this is a picture of? Ah, yes, I am visually seeing many people raise their hand. This, of course, is Ulysses. Ulysses is a Greek myth, and you can tell he was a captain, or you can't tell, but he actually was a captain. And what Ulysses' problem was is that he had to go to an island, and to get to that island, he had to pass an island of sirens. Now, sirens were beautiful mermaids, and they would sing wonderfully. And then what would happen as you passed the island and you heard their beautiful songs, you went toward the island, you crashed and died, and you were ate by the mermaids. Now, every ship captain knew that. Every ship captain knew that if he listened to the song, he would then end up killing himself and killing his entire crew. But they figured that they had the willpower not to do something so stupid. But they didn't. Everyone died. Everyone crashed. So Ulysses said, I am literally going to tie my hands to the mast. I am going to put something around my ears so that I cannot hear the sirens. And I'm going to put something in my mouth so I cannot give the order to go toward the sirens. In other words, he did not trust himself to act in a rational manner, even when the failure to do so meant his sudden death. That's what Lemonade did, in less drier situation. So we realized that there was a inherent conflict of interest, that no matter how well we or any other insurance company wanted to only pay, or rather pay all covered claims and pay it quickly, we were motivated not to pay covered claims for our own benefit. So we decided to create Lemonade based upon a technology SaaS model. We take 20% off the top, no matter what. So we don't profit by denying claims. We get the same amount of money no matter what. So if that's true, what do we do with the profits? We can't give it to ourselves like this happy gentleman. What do we do with it? Well, to understand that question, we have to go back to the 1 minute and 42-second video. Now, you might have noticed that after the applicant applied for the insurance and got the insurance, he or she was given 15 charities to choose from, and you choose the charity which is closest to your heart. And then what Lemonade does is that we group all the people who chose the same charity. And if that group is profitable, which we define as having a loss ratio less than 40%, regardless of any other group, if that group is profitable, then we give those excess profits to the charity chosen by that group. Is that going to change the behavior of our insureds? Is that going to change the behavior of our applicants? That's the subject matter of our next discussion. And it brings us back to Dan Ariely. Now, he wrote a book called The Honest Truth About Dishonesty, in which he talked about the fact that everyone lies. He did the following experiment to prove his point. He had a group of students do a math exam, a series of math questions. Now, it wasn't possible to get all the questions correct in the time that he was given, but they would do the best they can. Now, at the end of the exam, the students would come to the beginning of the class, and there would be a shredder, and they would put their exam through the shredder and then announce to the class how many questions they got right. And on average, people said that they got 6 out of 10 questions. But the shredder wasn't a shredder. It was a scanner. So Professor Ariely was able to determine exactly how many questions everyone got right. And on average, people actually only got 4 questions right instead of 6. So that became the level of cheating. Then he did part 2 of the experiment. He did the exact same exam, obviously with different students, but before the math exam, he gave them another exam, which was to write down as many of the 10 commandments that they could think of. How many wrote down all 10? 0. Number of them thought of some interesting new ones, but no one got all 10. And then the same thing with the math exam, with the shredder that's actually a scanner. Cheating went down to 0. No cheating. It wasn't like the people who knew the more commandments, who were less religious or less spiritual, cheated less. No one cheated. And that had something to do with priming the mind. Now you might say, well, what does it have to do with insurance? Well, this is what it has to do with insurance. Professor Ariely went to the insurance industry and said, you can change something very simple on your claims form. Right now, you have someone write down everything that happened to a claim, and then they sign everything I just told you is the truth. Well, that doesn't work. They've already lied. They're not going to go back now and admit that they lied. Move the line from the end of the claim form to the beginning of the claim form. That's the honest truth about dishonesty. People will stop lying. In fact, insurance fraud will go down 40%. How many insurance carriers took him up on his offer? That's correct. 0. Now you come Lemonade. Lemonade is new. We can do anything we want. So you might have noticed that in the claims portion of that 1 minute and 42-second video, before someone submitted a claim, among other things, they had to sign a dishonesty statement. And this honesty statement said, I know that I have a right to claim everything that I have a right to claim for. However, I also know that if I claim something I'm not entitled to, I'm not taking anything away from the big bad insurance company. I am taking it away from charity, not just any charity, but the charity that I chose. Now, it will be years before we determine whether this technique has been helpful. But there's reason to believe that it might. Simply in the 15, 16 months that Lemonade has been around, a dozen people have called us up and said, I found the thing that I thought I lost, and I got the check from you guys. I got the James Clark check for. I want to give back the money. I found the thing that I lost. I want to give back the money. How do I do that? Now, I know it's only 12 people, but in my 30 years of traditional insurance experience, I don't remember one claimant saying, I got the check, I don't deserve it, how do I give it back? That's the honest truth about dishonesty. So the question is, will this Lemonade experiment work? Right? So we went to New Yorkers and we asked them, What did they think?
We're gonna go meet some policyholders who tweeted about us. They said something nice about us, so we should go meet them. He put a picture up on Instagram saying that Lemonade's making insurance sexy. So I was like, okay, we really need to meet this guy.
I'm Noah, and I'm a designer at Square in New York.
Like sitting at work one day and I saw the advert for Lemonade and I like clicked on it. I was like, oh, rented insurance. Well, that's something we keep talking about. And then we were like, actually, this looks really good. 4 or 5 clicks. It's like, how much is our stuff worth? How much do we need? What's our monthly premium going to be? And I'm like, well, let's just sign up. Let's just do it. And because it's like, it was super easy. So I was like, where's my credit card?
What millennial doesn't love being able to order something on an app?
I love that it donates to charity. I love that you can pick your charity. I picked the women's charity in New York City, and then when I actually got to scroll through it, I was like, gosh, this is awesome.
I was looking for insurance. Every company I used was like pretty bad from a design perspective. It's just a horror show.
I had such a great experience, and I thought it was so amazing in terms of customer service and the interface, and Maya, the app, and all of that is just was so cool. I felt like I had to share.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we've been burglarized. Oh wait, I have Lemonade. Let me see what they can do. So I clicked on the top right corner, I pressed file opening. After like maybe 5 minutes, your file has been processed. 1 minute I was panicked and like so stressed out, and the next minute I'm like, oh, I'm covered. I'm like breathing a lot easier.
Literally half the price, the place where I was getting jewelry insurance for, it's like a real amount of money in my life because of Lemonade. And it was super easy.
$5 a month, that's like a latte.
If someone asked me like what are my favorite apps, like I would put Lemonade up there with just like an amazing solution that saves me money and gives me peace of mind.
So here I am back again, full screen. I hope that you found those last 18 minutes or so enjoyable. Again, I greatly apologize that we had to do it this way. But I will see you soon. And if you want to hear a fascinating fireside chat in which you and the moderator can ask any question they want of me about Lemonade, about InsurTech, about anything else that they might want to ask, please join me at, I believe it is for 2:30 this afternoon. So see you soon. And again, thank you for joining me, at least this way.